We win.
We are live right now.
Dude, I'm so excited. Listen, I think excited is the word for the entire month. Guys, the show tonight is great. Episode 49 of the Drag Driver Pete Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, we are talking to Brett LaSala and Jim Braun, overall winners of Sick Week 2024. We are also going to discuss, dude, I don't even know how to explain this. A lot of stuff that happened at Sick Week.
Yes,
Like, how
yes.
do you special cars, uh, class winners, all the all the things, and we're going to talk about what all is coming from Sick Week because there's a lot of stuff that's doing that as well. We have 3 pages of notes, so let's get started, guys. If you don't know, my name is Mike Narks. I am the host of the Drag Driver Pete Show and the Drag Driver Pete News, which will be on this Saturday morning for one of the first times in a while. I'm excited about getting back to that. I'm a drag and drive statistician, dude. I love it. I was digging it. It's hard to not spend 2 or 3 hours looking for certain stuff. We're going to actually talk about a little bit of that here in a minute with Larry Larson's comment from something from a post the other day. So I can't thank all those guys enough. And then I'm a promoter, dude. We got the circuit coming up in like what 2.5 2 months in a week or something
Yeah.
crazy. It's going to be wild. So Eric, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White. I run my personal channel, which is 815 LSX Swaps. And then I help out with everything drag, drive, repeat, edit pictures. You've seen a lot of pictures coming from Sick Week. So Mike was sending those over. I was doing some editing on those and getting those uploaded. Artwork. You're going to see a bunch of artwork tonight that I created for the show. So
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. And then, the host of the show or a co host of the show and the news.
Yeah, dude, you're a busy guy. Um, it's been crazy. The last couple weeks have been absolutely nuts. I see the number in here just continue to climb. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We can't do this without our race car friends. Sadly, I didn't get enough race car friends videos while I was down there, but I do want to give a big shout out to Richard Crosby and 304 Media for letting me ride along in the van. Dude, I really appreciate that guy so much. Got to hang out, got to eat dinner with him a couple times. We got some really good conversations, and he ran me by the route stop. So if you haven't seen it, there's some videos that are dropping on our channel, but also make sure you're watching 304 Media so you can see the videos that he's got going on. But guys, we need to thank you so much. While I get this opened up here, sorry, we've been crazy. I want to apologize ahead of time. We were literally sliding in here, still doing artwork a few minutes ago to get
Yep.
everything ready. What is going on here? Okay, allow. Give me all this stuff. I guys, I apologize about the hold up here. But we want to say thank you to our race car friends that are out there. Listen, I got to hang out with a lot of you folks while I was down at Sick Week. Dude, that was a crazy trip. And then, guys, we can't say thank you enough to our sponsors Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Car Change 3D, Howard's Cam, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds. Guys, can't do it without them either. It was really cool. I got to hang out with the Summit guys all week. And listen, there's a spot in this where we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but you're not going to believe how many I don't want to say tickets they wrote or orders they wrote while we were on Sick Week. Absolutely crazy. So that's coming up here in just a little bit as well. And then should we drop some knowledge on them here real quick? A big bomb that's coming beginning next week. Are you
Yeah, I
ready
think
for
we do
this,
that.
dude? We're going to do a newsletter. It's going to start monthly. This is something I've been wanting to do for probably the last year and a half. And really, I want to do this because it gives us one more way to kind of dig in a little deeper. We've really leaned into video the last 18 months, and a newsletter is going to allow us to kind of take all of these notes that we've made to do all that and put it in an easy to read format. So it should be something pretty simple. It's going to be monthly to start until I can get a good rhythm, until we can get a good rhythm on this, and then probably move more towards biweekly than weekly. Weekly is my goal. I'd love to send you guys something that would kind of not just recap the show and the news, but also give you all kinds of new insights and things like that. So I'm going to drop the Google Forms form in the or Google Forms link into the chat. If you guys want to get a newsletter, holler at us, put it on here, let us know. That's going to go out. I will make a post about this later tonight as well. That'll be on the Drag Drive Repeat page and the Drag Drive Repeat hashtag Race Car Friends Facebook group as well. So
Yeah.
should be a good way. I think it's going to open up an opportunity for us to maybe dig a little deeper on stuff, and will make us go deeper. There's sometimes where we're pretty high level on things just because we're trying to go through so much. Information when we come on to the show or the news, but this will give us an opportunity to really kind of dig down and be better at writing. So kind of excited
Right.
about that.
Steven says, it's got us on the big screen.
Nice.
Speaking of big screen, something else that we did to get ourselves out to more people last night, we
Yes.
aired on PowerTube TV for our first time.
Dude, I'm so excited about that. Excited. Listen, that's a new drinking for tonight. It was really cool for Ray and Brian to give us that opportunity. And I want to say thanks to everybody that watched. We really appreciate that. There is a lot more coming. I'm actually editing down a lot of video that is going to be exclusive just for PowerTube that'll come from our video stuff. So it will be, you can follow them on YouTube as well, but go grab the app. We are literally in the lineup, like in it'll be Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock across the US. That's when you'll be able to find 9 p.m. It's going to be really cool to have that opportunity to again tell people about drag and drive coverage. And then I want to say on the back of that, have you seen what the Monoxide podcast has been doing? Have you seen any of that stuff, dude? He's been
Yeah.
cutting down the videos we did or the podcast we did. Crazy. That guy's blowing up, y'all. I'm telling you, the community of drag and drive is really very small, but it's about to get much bigger thanks to you know everybody that is out there talking about it, everybody that's out there doing things for it. So
Yeah.
appreciate that, guys.
Did you see what followed our show on PowerTube TV?
Man, I did not. It ended, and I went right back to editing.
Dennis Anderson.
Oh, the dude that drives a Gravedigger.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
th- that's pretty cool. That is pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah. It
it's
was cool to see us, in that mix with names like that for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So essentially what we're going the original plan right now, the setup plan now is to take the show and the news, we'll separate them and then we will cut them down into not segments, but maybe first half of the show, kind of this conversation, and then the guest will be its own standalone, and we'll be providing those to PowerTube. So it's a great way to catch up on this after the fact, and probably an easier, maybe an easy way to catch up, catch it. So pretty cool. And we were talking about folks that were talking about Drag and Drive. And I want to give a shout out to Gearhead Perspective. Their podcast they recorded on Sunday and dropped on Monday. They were talking about us again. So they used a lot of the photos that you edited that I took, which is kind of cool. That's worked out really well in the past. So they used a lot of that for the conversations they were having, the stories they were telling about the event, and all that kind of stuff. So pretty
Yeah,
neat.
that's pretty cool. And the
Yep.
pictures, I think we did 300 photos for the week. And
Yeah.
that's quite a bit for you being there by yourself doing pictures
Yeah.
and in video. So
Well, let me drop some knowledge on you guys here. 1139 videos with the big camera and like 1110 or 1120 videos and photos with my phone.
yeah.
So that's why it takes so long to get all this stuff put together, because the stories I've been telling that I've been editing are, trying to tell one story. Well, like Jerry and Matt Sweet, I may have 30 videos of theirs. So
Hmm.
finding those within those videos and then putting all those together and making it make sense is a little hard. I see Brian Acton and Jay Blanchard in here, Fast Act Racing guys. I've got a ton of their stuff. It's going to be really cool when I get that video done, and we're going to talk about them in a little bit. But I do want to give them a big shout out. Congratulations to them. 8500 pass. That is perfection. Chef's kiss. It's amazing to get that done for them. So we're going to talk about that here in just a minute in the sick week recap. Next up here, I just set this up today. I see John Paul Franks in here talking about it. Man, listen, or making comments. Y'all, I'm going to be the announcer at Heads Up Hustle.
That's awesome.
Cool is that? Yeah, I'm excited. Did you know that? Did you know
Yeah.
that? I did. It's crazy, man. I'm pumped about this. I've already started notes for that on like how it works and all the stuff and everything that goes from there. Eric and I were talking earlier about Eric attending, doing some drag drive repeat stuff while we're there, and then also, of course, jumping on the mic with me while we're in the tower doing all that stuff. But the cool thing about on the spot auto repair sponsoring the live stream for the circuit is that means we'll have that stuff as well. So maybe there'll be some live stream opportunity there from Heads Up Hustles. We'll have to see how it works. I don't know how all that's going to go down, but if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be us.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
That should be fun.
Yep.
If I can get a chance to come out there, it'd be cool to get up in there in the tower with you, and maybe you
Yep.
announce the right lane and I announce the left lane or something fun like that.
Yeah, that would be perfect. Yeah, we can make wagers while we're up there. All right,
Right.
let's go to the next thing, guys. WAF Racing, WAF Racing. I saw so Matt Blasco, who's kind of famous, was his co-pilot, and so got to hang out with those guys. Was talking to Matt. This guy pulls out literally this thing that's on top of this carburetor and is working in it, and I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And he's like, "Oh, let me tell you." So of course, I was like, "Don't tell me, tell the camera." So I grab my phone and we do a quick video. It's went ham. There's people asking all kinds of stuff on uh on Instagram. It's going crazy over there. At TikTok, it's working as well. Oh, sorry. And so because of that success of that video, he's gotten all excited. His name's Chris Wozniak, and he is going to send 3 of these for us to give away at the circuit.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's going to be raffle items. I'm really pumped about this. It's going to be really cool. I don't know anything about carburetors, but for carburetor folks, he said it's the bee's knees. It's the way to go. It's just an easy way to keep all your tools there. You can see just from this picture that I grabbed from his Instagram. But jump over to WAF Racing 23. Make sure you're following those folks over there so you can see all about all this kind of stuff. Yeah, John Paul Franks, carburetor guy there, said he needs one. I don't even need one, but I want one. Just so I mean, I'd put it on the fender somewhere. I don't know. Really, really cool. So that's kind of exciting. Let's see. We did the gearhead perspective again. Thanks to those guys. Big shout out to them. All right. Perfect. Eric, let's talk about what you've done over the last 30 days.
Yeah. So we were kind of chatting about this before the show started, and I was kind of mentioning tomorrow marks 30 days that I've done intermittent fasting, anywhere between 16 to 18 hours fasting, and then the other 6 to 8 hours eating.
Mhm.
Um, just it's winter's over with, and spring's coming, and it's time to, shed off a few of those pounds, makes a race car faster, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So 30 days tomorrow will be fasting.
Wow.
Um, in 30 days, I've only drank one energy drink, which
Dude,
is big for me.
that's so crazy.
It was usually like a 2 C4 or two of the 300 milligram energy drinks a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So I cut that out. I had one. And oddly enough, it was either that one wasn't good or because I hadn't had one in so long that it didn't even taste good.
It
And then also
was the
with
second
that,
one. It was the second one, I promise.
yep. And then also within that, I haven't had any alcohol in 30 days. So this has been helping. I'm down roughly 12 pounds in 30 days. So it's pretty
Dude, that is
exciting.
crazy, man. Congratulations to you. Everybody in the chat, tell him congratulations because that's really cool.
Yep.
So,
So gonna
yeah,
get in a little bit of
yeah.
shape before I come down to the circuit. That's the plan.
Well, and dude, race weight, man. Race weight.
Yeah.
You know, every 10 pounds matters. Every 5 pounds. Because like that's good on your knees too, man. I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the first week without energy drinks was a little bit rough. I ended up getting some caffeine pills. Took those like one in the morning. I did good. Now I'm to the point where I just wake up and drink water all day, and I'm not tired, and I actually honestly feel better.
That's awesome. And I'm telling you, that's really kind of the way it goes. I mean, like it's amazing your body processing that much sugar all that time. Now it's like, wow, I don't have to work that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So
I didn't plan on like completely quitting everything, but
Yeah.
the way it's going, I've done well, so and I'm okay. But you know, there's going to be times where we're on events, and I'm going to drink an energy drink, but it's not going to be part of
Yeah.
my everyday routine anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to have it. And we know at some of the events, mainly the circuit, you're going to have some parking lot beers.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Well, awesome. Well, before we move on, guys, Summit Racing's speed legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop. Four facilities, 200 plus catalog editions, fueling your passion. They save you money, deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service. In 2014, they launched the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, you can tune into the All Cylinders podcast for more automotive discussions from humble origins to the social media lane. Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. How cool was that? I want to say thanks to them. That's they're a big part of our program here. I want to give a big shout out to Tommy Dupree for letting me hang out with him all week. And Alec, dude, you guys are amazing, taking care of me. I was supposed to drive the truck for a little bit, but I never did. So slid by that one maybe just a little bit. All right, let's move on here, guys. Howard's Cams is a big part of our program as well. Our boy Luke B, he's so awesome. So they have upgraded from the news sponsorship to the show, which means we're going to be able to dig in a little deeper in stuff. And so our new segment for Howard's Cams is the Howard's Cams community segment. This is going to be really fun because it's going to give us an opportunity. It was comedy on the news. Now it's going to be, we can do comedy. We can talk about in depth stuff, kind of like what we're going to go over today. And then we can do whatever we want. We can get top posts from different Facebook pages or groups or anything like that. So it's going to be really, really neat. So Larry Larson made a post on the addiction Facebook group that talks about, he said, how many racers that have ran 5 or more events and ran faster than 799 finished every event? So, to answer that, he's the only one. Okay, cool, great. So, I wanted to kind of bounce a little deeper into that because it was obviously that's something hard, because if you're going to go out and swing at a bunch of different events, it's going to be hard to finish all of them. We all know that. So, these names here, mainly our boy Bryant Goldstone at the top, baby, 799 or faster, and how many events they've finished with a 799 or faster average. Okay, so I hope you understood all that. Here's the rundown. Larry Larson has done 8 events that are 799 or faster, and each of those he has completed. Obviously, I couldn't find that he had DNF'd at any drag week or any race week, which I think are the only 2 that he has competed in. I'll have to look back, guys. I was trying to put all this together and not spend 6 hours doing it. But I just want to give you some perspective. So while Larry Larson's deal is amazing, stupendous, I hope that Jeff Lutz coming back makes Larry want to come back. I hope that we're going to see, the resurgence of those 2 guys. But Bryant Goldstone competed in 4 national level events last year alone.
Right.
So when it says 8, you can only imagine how many that takes to get there. Now, this is from the beginning of time, from what I can gather, again, in about an hour, hour and a half worth of data. So Bryant Goldstone with 8 finishes that are 799 or faster. Larry Larson with 8. Clark Rosensingle, my buddy, 7 or more. Tom Bailey, 7 events, 799 or faster. Tom Bailey, 7 events. Doug Klein, Tom McGilton, both with 5 events, 799 or faster. Alex Taylor with 4, and Dave Schroeder with 4. Pretty impressive list of names there. And when you start looking at that, think about where those folks have taken the sport. Like, these are very, very fast people. It really made me want to just go complete nerd and keep digging down. But I had to step back, and I had to make it. Had to start with this. So while we talk about fast people a lot, I want you guys to understand, like, there are so many cool things that come from just drag and drive, and like the fast cars that are listed here and fast racers that are listed here, end up they bring slow stuff too, or they run a slow time. It's really kind of crazy. Man, pretty amazing that Larry Larson has finished every event that he has entered. Pretty intense, especially with the kind of cars that he's been racing.
Which is kind of wild because I had made a post on my personal Facebook when all the stuff about Lutz was coming back, and I asked,
Yep.
does anybody think Larry Larson will come back now? And then,
Yep.
this post came up recently, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Another thing here, this comment, Bad Idea Garage, breaking news, Carolina drag cruise just sold out.
That's awesome. Congratulations to Mike and the team over there. That's awesome.
And NHRA stock says my foggy memory thinks Larson DNF'd at a Rocky Mountain Race Week one year.
I don't have those up anymore, but I can take a look for sure. And you know what? I think you're right. I think you are right because I think he's done 4 Rocky Mountain Race Weeks and he's finished 3 of those. I think you're right, man. There was so much data that was going along because I physically had to build a new list to try and keep up with just 799 and faster racer names, so I didn't have to take out slow times. Anyways, nerdy stuff, nerdy stuff. That's the way it goes for me over here on this side. Um,
Yeah. So that's going to be a fun segment too going forward, like you'd
yeah,
mentioned with the Howard's Cam. So lots of stuff we can do there. I'm excited. I know I sent you a couple things today of different
yep,
statistics and stuff that people have posted. So those will be things that'll be coming in
yep,
the future as well. So I think it'll be good.
yeah. I'm really, again, I'm excited about what's gonna happen because now listen, I don't know him and I didn't talk to him about this. I talked to Larry to Jeff for just a second, but I feel like him DNFing at sick week is going to drive him to want to come back. Now, does that mean
Yes.
drag week? Boy, that would be really cool if he came back to drag week. Does it mean he's going to wait for sick week next year? I don't know. I think it's
Yeah.
all gonna be dependent upon what happens with all the Discovery and Disney stuff and everything that goes there.
Yeah. I think that you're spot on with that. I think if his schedule allows it, then he would possibly do that. But if the schedule doesn't allow it, then maybe
Yep.
sick week next year.
Yep. And again, that's why sick week does so well is because it's in the winter for a lot of folks and people's stuff is fresh and things come out swinging. We're going to
Yeah.
talk a little bit of, we're going to dig kind of deep into that on Saturday on the news, about attrition and all that kind of stuff. So, one other, some other folks I want to give some shout outs to is Parts Online Network. Bill and Andy just worked their absolute butts off for the week down there. Those guys did not stop. And listen, I know they didn't stop because I didn't stop. It was crazy. So they've been posting these videos that are all runs. So like Glenn Hunter's, this is all of his runs that they captured from Sick Week 2024. Really a cool thought process. I like this. I think this is really cool. I've watched a couple of them, great videography, all that kind of stuff that goes along with all of that. But I thought this was a really neat deal. So you guys make sure you're following Parts Online Network. Great folks there. And then I want to give a shout out to that track channel. Look at that, dude. That's me right there. That's
Yeah.
me on that screen on that other channel on that
Yeah.
track channel. So I want to say thanks to him. He came all the way from Canada to come down here and capture Sick Week and all the stuff that went along with that. So it was really cool to see him working and hanging out. And again, the media stuff. There's some shots on our page of the starting line with all of the media folks. Everybody's cameras in the air. There's hands. There's everybody's doing everything. But I've got a really good couple videos that pan from. I think it's Lutz doing a burnout, and there's literally 12 media folks that are like standing right there, and then comes back. I want to give a shout out to. Oh, I don't think his name's Wes. But he stood in Jesse Harris's diesel smoke, and you probably see it on 1320 video. I haven't got mine done yet, but listen, as he builds boost, it just literally engulfs him. It was pretty cool. So a lot big shout outs to all the media folks that are out there that worked our butts off for Sick Week. It was
Heck
pretty
yeah.
crazy. It was pretty crazy. Well, guys, we want to thank Molly Motorsports here. Attention, high performance enthusiasts and sportsman class racers. Meet the Molly Motorsports Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for power packed performance. Say that 7 times fast. Crafted with precision from top quality alloys, our pistons offer tighter clearances and increased resistance. And increased resistance. I don't think that was supposed to say that there. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi. We've got you covered. What sets us apart? Forged pistons, graphol coating. Maybe that's what it's called. And phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meet precision. Performance meets precision. Dude, I'll get this down eventually. I promise. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details.
You nailed it.
Dude, we gotta drop some of these in there. Can't do this without our cool folks. We've got stuff coming from Car Chains. We've got a new sponsor that we're going to talk about on Saturday. Actually, I don't even know if I want to say it. We have two new sponsors we're going to talk about on Saturday.
Mm,
So I'm kind of excited. It's going to be really really cool. So
excited?
uh, I'm excited. Are you
Yeah,
excited?
I'm excited. Uh, we got a Facebook user here that says, "Is that Matt Ricky stood in the diesel coal smoke?"
Man, yep, yes, absolutely crazy. He
And
got
then,
cold.
yep,
Dude,
guy
that's funny.
Guy Pertano in here.
Yep. Yeah, they definitely did do a great job. And it was really cool to see so many open-minded racers. Because I'm telling you, there were times where we were standing in line to talk to racers, and not like famous racers, like everyday like people that were driving regular cars were getting interviewed, and it was so cool. So when we think about the media side of that stuff and how much content is going to get pushed out from just one event to help the drag and drive community, it's crazy, man. It gets me all pumped up and come on, tell me.
Excited.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well,
That's gonna
let's
be
talk
on.
about
That's gonna
go
be
ahead.
on a new sticker. I think. I think we're gonna have to put
Yeah.
hashtag excited on a sticker.
Yes. Well, let's talk. Let's see, what do we got going on here? In the photos here. Oh, let's talk about sick stories. Let me move over a little bit. We're going to kind of pop back and forth a little bit here. This is cool. Sick stories. This is not going to be something that we're going to do all the time, but because it's sick week, this was pretty fun. We had a great time. I had a great time down there, guys. Tell you somebody who didn't have a good time, Jimmy Dale,
I saw that.
bro. But dude came out to the track, I think on Monday. I think this happened Saturday or Sunday. Come to the track on Monday, end up back in the hospital, and then had to go home, man. Just crazy the dedication that guy. He wanted to have a good time with racers. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. I hope that his healing goes well. I hope all that kind of stuff just works like it should. And man, just the craziest story ever. Just so crazy. I don't even know how you say all that stuff. Like how do you know, he's been around cars for a long time, man. It's just one
Right.
of those things. It's what happens when your brain doesn't that like you're tired and you're on a drag and drive and you're so pumped to see everybody and then, bad things happen.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
nuts.
Sometimes those things just slip your mind. You're making the motions and it's not really processing.
That's exactly right. Well, the video I'm working on right now is kind of a big one. I've got another probably day or two before I get it done, but it is the Joel Kerr and Lonnie Tibbs Corvette story. Dude,
Yeah. That was fun to
insane.
follow.
Oh my gosh. 18 seconds was their first pass down the track. Absolutely nuts. And by the end of the week, they got to an 1150. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool. It
That's
was pretty cool.
impressive.
And to thrash on it, like the reason they have no hood is because the only radiator they could find at 1:30 in the morning on Facebook Marketplace was too tall.
Yeah.
The only room they had, the only spot on that car that has any room is in the radiator. So luckily, they could go wider and taller, and that's what they did, and it worked. Or they would have had a regular Corvette with a hood on it, and that would have been no fun at all.
So was the radiator not good when they picked it up then?
It was good, but then it like sprung a leak and was literally peeing. It was just
Gotcha.
so that's all in the video. We're going to talk about all that stuff, and I caught up with him almost every day. So I caught up with Lonnie most days, and then caught up with Joel at the end of the week to get his story and all the fun that comes from that. So again, I should have that out probably on Friday. I think that'll be the Friday night drop for videos.
Yeah, when I saw the picture of the vehicle they picked up, I it wasn't what I was expecting. I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting a Corvette, a C4 Corvette.
right.
So I was kind of surprised. I
Sorry,
get
I'm reading some notes here from Derek Putnam. Uh, yes. So Larry Larson did only do 3 Rocky Mountain Race Weeks. That's yeah. I don't know. Anyways, we'll look and again, that means he's finished every one of them faster than a 799 because he's got 8. So pretty crazy there. So congratulations to Joel and them. It was absolutely awesome watching that. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Matt Rice and Dave Teresi, my boys. It was awesome. It was great to see Dave. Matt, it was so cool. We hung out with him a little bit at PRI there at one of the after parties, and then just got to hang out with him several times this week. Got to see him a few times, and so we're gonna do all that. And
yeah.
then the next
Face
thing up here. Go ahead.
Facebook user here says hashtag it could be yours waffle.
Oh, well, I think they're talking about the Corvette because I had a conversation with one of the guys that did that all week, and I think that's possibly the plan is to do some waffle items with this Corvette because he ain't shipping it back to back home. So and Lonnie said he doesn't need it at the house.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yep, yep, super cool. So let's talk about Jason Tabscott right here. Turned 2 valves and
Ouch.
I mean, here's what's crazy. Car still ran like a 929 with that happening. Literally
Right.
it was happening as they were making their last pass to lock in their class win. Pretty crazy. They had tied up a valve. They had broken some valve springs, broken some rockers this week, and obviously one of them just was not having any more. It said, "I'm done. I don't want to play anymore." So you know what that means for those guys, though. That means they're going to go home and upgrade.
Upgrade. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep, there's no way that they don't go up and do that. I want to say hi to Danny here in the comments. Sport about Grubauer Garage on Instagram and YouTube, y'all. Those guys put it down, and they changed an engine on their way coming, like drove the little Gucci AMC wagon from California, got into Texas, and dropped the engine, swapped complete engines over from a 258 to a or 253 to a 238. Had to change all kinds of stuff to get it done. So pretty
Yeah.
wild stuff there.
Did they have a post about like number of coffees, number of fuel stops? I think I saw that. Was that today
Yes.
or yesterday? That was
Yeah.
pretty cool to see all that.
Yep. So got a lot of good video of that car, in the parking lots, and I think I may have gotten its last pass of the 890, 1898. So it is an 18-second car for the
Yeah.
first time. I want to say hi to
They
John
got
Pfeiffer stopping in here. Um, we have big news for what he's got going on with the channel as well coming up, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. So, all right, let's talk about this right here. Car count for sick week. Let's move into some sick week stuff here. 331 cars. I think 2023 they had about the same 334, 336, something like that. But 4 cars in the sixes, 15 cars in the sevens, 38 cars in the eights.
whoops.
Sorry, my finger hit it. 38 cars in the eights, 35 cars in the nines, 45 cars in the tens, 32 cars in the 11s, 31 in the 12s, 25 in the 13s, 12 in the 14s, and then 16 cars were slower than 15.0.
That's pretty
Just,
wild. The most cars was the 10-second class.
I'm telling you, 10-second street cart's where it's at, man.
Yeah.
What's
So
really crazy is 38 cars in the eights.
that's what I was just
Like,
gonna say. The next biggest was eights,
yeah, yeah.
eights and then nines. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's pretty
really
wild.
fast stuff. Yeah. Fast street cars. One of the cars I did catch up with was in that 16 cars that are slower than 15.0. And that was the 1929 Ford that has a 1929 4-cylinder in it. It's pretty fun. So
Nice.
lot of really cool cars. A lot of names that you'll notice as we start talking about some of the class winners in the sixes that have been around winning at Sick Week for a while now. So pretty crazy stuff there. See Ethan Dunn here saying, um, the 850 class, super competitive and a lot of cars in it. Yes, that is for sure. So Sick Week runs two classes that are kind of what we would consider an 850 class. There are some other classes we'll talk about in a second too that are 850 limited, but yeah, two classes, and they were some of the biggest. I mean, it was pretty intense, and there was a lot of passes ran this. There were actually three 8500 passes ran this week. I think you and I had that conversation, and I was like, no, 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 that had to be wrong, or maybe it was me and Tommy. It had to be wrong. But Dean Anderson ran the third
Yeah,
8500 pass of the week, and that was the first time three had ever been done in a week. Pretty
in one
crazy.
event. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty crazy to see Rick Dodge in here making comments. We got to hang out with him, see our race car friends there. So, congratulations to everybody. Again, these are cars that finished. This is not cars that DNF'd, right? So, these are cars that finished in these kind of numbers. So, pretty amazing. There was quite a bit of attrition, but again, that comes from everybody. That man, people were laying their stuff on the line. It was they were getting down trying to get to it. So, it was pretty cool to see all the cars come up through all of that. Let me get back here to our comments. Oh, yeah, here we go. Guys, we do want to say thanks again for being our race car friend. Thank you for all of you guys that are out there that help do all this. Hit the share button as we go through all this. Guys, thank you to our sponsors, Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Howard's Cams, Car Change 3D, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk Classifieds. Can't do it without them. Appreciate all of you guys for all you do. All right, dude, let's get down to it. Let's talk about Sick Week results. This is going to be pretty wild.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of stuff that happened and a lot of results. We've got a bunch of artwork here, so
Yeah. So we're going to work through this stuff here. And guys, Eric, I want to say I appreciate you putting all of this together. This is amazing, and you can find these results at sickthemagazine.com and go in there and look at all that stuff and all the data that I typically pour through. You can see it for yourself as well.
yep.
So
Uh,
let's run through here, and once you lead us on this while I get a drink.
yep. So quickest without a trailer was Bob Hess in the '82 Mustang was a 7.6962. Quickest
Yeah.
Chevrolet, Stefan Gustafson, '89 Corvette. We all know that Corvette, 6.7454. Quickest Ford, obviously our guest tonight, Brett LaSala, 2012 Mustang with a 6.3402.
hmm
That's
And these
fast.
are these are engines. These are quickest engine, um, like a power plant.
Yep. Quickest Pontiac was Nick Wieglin, 1976 Trans Am with a 8.3004. Quickest Mopar, Rick Trunkett, 72 Duster, 7.7414. Quickest Buick, Eddie, what is that, Merced, 86 Regal, 12.1260.
Yeah. So
Uh,
where's all my Buick folks at? Let's get out there and get you some.
yeah. Quickest Oldsmobile, um, yeah,
Rovic from the Yukon.
I was going to say, yep,
Rovic Ahuja.
67 Olds 442 with a 9.7568.
Way faster than it was last year. That car, he ran right up against 10 O's for a long time now, 9.7s. He's not scared to just spray the house down.
Yeah. Quickest AMC, Jacob Davis and the 72
Yeah.
Javelin, 11.0654. That was
That's
the
awesome.
red, white, and blue one.
Yeah. Yeah. He struggled pretty heavily. The first day had the whole rear axle out of that car. So we got a couple
Yep.
of videos. I followed him all week as well.
Yep. Quickest, that should say Beetle, not
Mm.
Beatty. Richie Webb with the 1970 Beetle with a 10.2094.
That's awesome.
Then we've got quickest hot rod, Kevin Wilms, 1930 Ford Roadster, 10.7652. Quickest gasser, Michael Henston, 1965 Ford Fairline,
Yeah.
10.9794.
One of my favorite cars of the whole event. Super
Was
cool.
it?
Just wait till you guys see the video of that. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's the
We've
yellow one with all the speed holes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I recognize that from the photos you took.
Yep.
Quickest four-cylinder, Rob Courtney, 95 Honda Civic, 9.1834.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
He broke 3 rear axles trying to make his final pass on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Quickest six cylinder, Damon Elf with 95 Supra, 8.8040.
Mhm.
Quickest electric, probably the only electric, I believe. Kyle Wade, Boosted Boy, 2022 Tesla S, Platycee, 10.4546.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say 2022 Tesla because it's a Honda Odyssey van.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's interesting because they're obviously going off the chassis there, but
Yeah.
quickest rotary, Wyatt Stengel, 74 Corolla, 13.9026. And last but not least, quickest diesel, Rick Flutz, 1970 Chevelle with a 9.0392.
Yep. Pretty awesome running there. And then moving on to Bullseye. Great artwork by obviously right here. So Bullseye Challenge Day number 2 in Bradenton. The target number was number 72. Rick Dorn 2020 Mustang 10729. And then day 3 was you had to get closest to number 56. Russell St. John with a 12621. Again, 62 to 56, pretty close there. At day 4 is Bree Brewer in the 2017 Mustang with a 15472, getting really close to the day 4 number of number 46. And then the day's Bullseye Challenge, day 5, looking for number 39, Colin Moore in a 94 Silverado 10422.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
awesome.
I thought this was a pretty cool idea
Yep. Yeah,
doing
I
that
like I
bullseye
like this.
challenge.
Yeah, I really like it as a challenge. I think it's really neat. It opens it up to, provide anybody the opportunity to run that. So pretty cool there. I see the guys are in the backstage there. We do see you guys hang tight. Just probably another 10, 15 minutes we got here, and we'll bring you guys on. I'm getting thumbs up from them. Again, guests tonight are Jim Braun and Brett LaSala, the number 1 team from Sick Week 2024. Okay. DYO first place. Dude, this is a crazy spread. So this is from the fastest pass of your quickest pass of the week to your slowest pass of the week. DYO Mr. Joe Haney and the F Cancer Nova, man, 041 across 5 days of different tracks, different setups, different everything, and has a 041 spread. But did you see Pro DYO?
Yeah.
And did you see the last name there, Luan?
Yep.
Gab- Gabby Luan, man. That the Luan Motorsports broke it down for everybody. That I bet they had 8 cars, maybe 9. I don't know. It was crazy. Uh, Pro DYO means quicker than 10-0. So 850 to 10-0. 93 Mustang 021 spread for the week.
Yeah.
021 from your like that means there's 3 other days of racing in the mix there that have a smaller margin than 021.
Yeah. And Derek Putnam
Crazy.
here just saying that's our first DND as a driver.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's killer.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Dean Anderson. We talked about it earlier, but Dean was in Pro DYO, and I talked to Stephanie a little bit earlier, yesterday or today through Messenger, and she said the only reason they picked Pro DYO is because they read the rules wrong. So all of you 850 racers that are coming to Six Summer, you better put your big boy panties on because they're coming. So they're the 3rd team to do an 8500. Again, this class is limited to an 8500, so you can't go faster than that. So that's pretty amazing to be right on a perfect pass, just like Jay and Brian. Oh,
Jennifer, not Stephanie.
hey, listen, I was close from memory. Sorry about that. Yeah, Jennifer, not Stephanie. So sorry about that. Pretty cool. Thank you so much, reaching back to kind of give me the rundown there. And I'm telling you, that car is good to go. It's ready to make some passes, and it would have been second with their 85252 average in either one of the 850 classes. They would have taken second. So.
That's
Um,
wild.
yeah, they're a little mad at themselves for not getting in the right class, but that's the way it works sometimes. And so I wanted to give a big shout out to them on that. And guys, let's talk about our boys, Sixth Street Race winners, Brian Acton and Jay Blanchard, 70 Nova, y'all, 85234 average. 8500 pass on day 2. Are you kidding me? Jim's
Yeah.
in the backstage right now going, "Man, listen, I was one of the first guys to run an 850." So we're going to talk about a little bit of that too here in just a few minutes. So 6th Street Race, and again the other 850 class, Street Race 275, Randy Seward and Steve Trance, the OGs, the old guys, in there just whipping ass. 85124 average for the week. And again, James Tall, day one, set the stage.
Yeah.
8500 on day one. You talk about
After that,
putting people in like overdrive. Man, he
yeah,
made some folks nervous.
after that car sat for as long as it did, they
Yeah.
get it going and then they come out and run that perfect number.
Yeah, yeah, pretty crazy. So, we talked about, or you talked about the gassers, hot rods, and Beetles. They kind of do, each one of those. They have it's one singular class, and they have an overall winner for that class. But then they also have individual winners as well. So if you have a gasser, if you have a hot rod, or if you have a Beetle, you also get you win that class as well.
Yep,
So
those were on the first slide.
Yep, yep. So congratulations to Richie Webb on that. I don't think that's his first time to win that, but that car is so cool. Pastel yellow Volkswagen Beetle convertible that just absolutely gets down. He races with the top down, super cool. Um, or sorry, Sick Week Freaks, Damon Elf. We talked about that. 880 average on that car. They were really looking to turn it up and run some 850s. It just didn't happen. That car is a stick shift car as well. Rowdy Radials, 8th Mile, Matt Moore, almost, dude, this close to knocking uh, Devin Vanderhoof's record off, but 4.6868 average, man, just so close. I know he wanted it too, but I want to congratulate him because he ran some serious, drag and drive personal best that week, and I would imagine some personal best of his own. So
Yeah, I
we'll talk
think
to them in the future.
yeah, I think I saw a post that they're already planning some upgrades for the car too. So,
Nice, nice. That's cool. Well, congratulations to one of our favorite families, Matt and Jerry Sweet, on their naturally aspirated win and reset the record at Sick Week. And if this had been a Pro Street NA, they would hold the Pro Street NA record for this race as well. Pretty crazy stuff. 76 Nova. You guys know the story behind that car. It was his. They sold it. The family bought it back. Surprised him. Super cool story. 7.7378 average for the week. Stick shift. Chad Fegley, 2010 Corvette. He wanted this one bad. He really wanted this because of what happened last year. He was set to win it last year, and then comes out, knocks. I want to say this is probably the all-out H pattern stick shift record for Drag and Drive.
wow.
Uh, yep. So again, H pattern is the key word there. We do have some Linko style stuff that has been faster, but this is pretty awesome. And I want to say he held it before that with his Rocky Mountain Race Week finish, and then now has dropped that again as well. So pretty cool. Congratulations to Chad on that as well. Super Street class, Michael Ward, 63 Nova, 7.3502. And is that what you sent me today? That they were the fastest Australian drag and drive team? Is that
I believe
what's
so.
happening? Yep. So
Yep.
again, we're going to talk about some of that stuff on Saturday's Drag Drive Repeat News. Pro Street class, Glenn Hunter. I think he's won this class a lot. I love seeing that car out here. It's really, really good. I see Guy Pertano here asking, did I reset Street Race NA? To be honest, I haven't dug into the ET records yet. I will have all of that done by Saturday, but I've been trying to crank out these videos and get all of this stuff ready for the show tonight. Modified class, obviously, our boys Brett LaSala and Jim Braun, just I mean, out of the park. 634 average. It's crazy. That's a record for modified for every drag and drive event that's out there, and a record radial average GT as well. So pretty crazy stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of big floppy tire guys that are at home trying to figure out how to run on these radials. So I'm sure we're going to hear a little bit of that from these guys here. And then brand new class for this year, heavy metal, which was a minimum weight of 3,550 pounds. 93 Roadmaster Hearse, baby. Jason Pickett, the Holland Ash with a 81592 average. Moving on to Unlimited Iron, Bryant Goldstone in the 73 Javelin, just saying, 2023 Dragon Drive World Champion. coming out here doing it again, running personal best all week, 651 average, record at Sick Week. I want to say unlimited iron or ultimate iron record across all drag and drive events as well. So again, double checking on that one. We'll have it on Saturday. Unlimited, Stefan Gustafsson ran away with it. Ran away with the class, 674 average. He's won overall at Sick Week. He's placed second at Sick Week, and now he's placed third at Sick Week. Absolutely insane. That dude is just on the money. He's got that car figured out. But you know what? He's changing cars. So
Yeah.
he's taking that power plant and moving it to a new car that's lighter and better set up. So you can only imagine how much faster he's going to be, but you know he's not going to leave it alone. He's not just going to take this 670
Right.
car and okay, now it's going to run 40s. Like he's gonna really get after it. It's going to be really fun to watch. So again, quickest overall third, Stefan Gustafsson with the 674. Bryant Goldstone in second, 651. Congratulations to him. And then Brett LaSala first overall, 634 average. Absolutely insane. I do want to talk about some of the interesting cars that were. Oops, sorry. Some of the interesting cars that were there. Oh man, you had made artwork for
Yeah.
that. Hold on. Let's add that back to the stage. So third place, Stefan Gustafsson. Sorry about that. Third place overall. Second place, Bryant Goldstone and Brian Robbins, 651. And then overall, Brett LaSala, 634. And Jim's in there too, I think, in those pictures. So uh, some interesting cars. You guys have seen the plumber's crack van. I like that. That was pretty funny. That dude's a plumber by trade and gets on there and does all that stuff. And Marty's 29 Model A hot rod. That was a really cool car. Did a video on it the other day. And then the Blythe Life Racing of Tim Blythe, the twin turbo Triumph that runs sevens. It's been extended. It's got this long front end. Really, really cool. And I see somebody asking, did he keep the doors on this year? Yes, yes. Everyone kept body panels on mostly. There were a couple hoods, but other than that, it was pretty
And
tame event actually.
and one rear bumper maybe.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. Yeah. So nothing absolutely crazy happened this year. We didn't see a nose of a car go 100 feet in the air. So before we bring them on, guys, we want to talk about what I found on Summit Racing this week, and I'll tell you this much: it's not parts. I didn't find parts this week. I was kind of always, I'm always digging around, finding a bunch of cool stuff. This week, I found that all of our pictures, well, a lot of the pictures that I took from Sick Week are on the On All Cylinders podcast blog. It's really cool. It blew me away that there were like 70 pictures that I had sent that you can look at there. So it's really, I want to say thanks to the team at Summit for doing this and obviously giving us a shout out. Dragdriverpete.com is everywhere in there. And they were sharing stuff all week long to their social media too. So that was kind of cool. And then I guess I do have a product this week. So I didn't know. Did you know that they have like new product releases? Like there's like hundreds of these things that come out. I'd never seen it before, but I thought this was kind of cool. This is one that comes out today, actually. It showed up last night as I'm looking through all this stuff, but like a bunch of new backspacing availability on the, like original Krager SS wheel.
Yep.
I figured they still made that, but I figured it was like in two sizes. But no, got a ton of different backspaces, all that kind of stuff. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of summitracing.com, you can go to new product releases, and this is in here. So I've been digging around. I'm not always just looking for parts. I'm looking for interesting things on there as well. So that's what I found on Summit Racing for this week. So let me know what you guys find on there as well. All right. One time before we jump in here, guys, I want to say thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to our race car friends. We appreciate everybody that makes this happen. I promise you guys are you help keep me awake till 1 o'clock in the morning putting all this stuff together. All right, let's talk about these guys that are going to come up. So give them a second here. I want to introduce them because they've been third overall at Sick Week 2023, quickest overall for 2024, quickest Coyote power plant ever in any drag and drive, and quickest Ford power ever. So that was kind of cool. It's kind of neat to see all of this stuff coming up. So if you guys are ready, we're going to bring you guys on again, Mr. Brett LaSala and Jim Braun coming on here for the Drag Drive Repeat Show. Guys, Hey, thank you so much for doing this. I had actually messaged Brett and was like, "Hey, dude, do you want to come on, talk about your stuff maybe next week?" Then we realized it was Valentine's Day, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, probably better skip that." So we're going to move the show around for next week, but we're still going to have it, even though it's going to be maybe on Tuesday or Thursday. But we didn't want to do that. We want to have you on tonight, man. It's awesome. So thank you guys both for being here. So I'd like you to introduce yourself and kind of, I don't know, tell us a little bit of your drag and drop history.
Go ahead,
Go,
Jim.
Brett. All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of similar, right? But
Yeah. Same.
20,
Same.
first drag and drop for us, for both of us, was actually 2019. We planned it together, right? We both had Brett had the OG Snot Rocket, and I had my white car, Great White, both 2000 or two. Mine's a 2012 Mustang, and we always something we wanted to do, always something wanted a new challenge, wanted something different than just kind of doing your standard heads up
Right.
racing, and we said, why not? Why not? So really, 2019 was the first year because of cage cert and things like that. We both entered the street race class, I believe it was called, and it was experience. It was still one of our top drag and drives. I mean, maybe this last one tops that, but
Yeah.
being the first time ever, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
and
never forget the memories and everything we made that week.
yeah, 2019. That seems like forever ago, but it's really not that long ago.
It seems after everything that's happened so far, it seems like 10 years ago.
Yeah. It seems like a different lifetime.
That's awesome. So 2019, you both are running all that stuff. Well, I do want to get this out of the way, guys. Jim is one of the only guys that have ran it's not even two hands of people that have ran a perfect pass in a dragon drive event. So let's just get that laid out. This dude knows what's up. So pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a cool experience in general because Brett and I were like, "Hey, let's race each other. Like, we're tired of let's go race each other. Like, we'll race on the tree, we'll race the whole way around." And the live feed from that video, the guy in the announcement was all hyped up and everything. He's like, "Look at this! These guys are leaving together. They're doing like they're like it's a side by side race, And I think that's kind of what goes back to kind of what Tom Bailey did with the whole 1 second rule. It just makes it a little bit
Yeah.
more, it makes it a little more live for the people and the fans. It looks like a real race.
Yeah.
yeah, agreed. Agreed. That 1 second rule has been a big change to, I think probably keeping interest from folks at home. It's not like a 7 second green light that people are still building boost. Plus, cars are way better now, I would like to think, than maybe what they used to be. So we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that in a little bit too, about some in-depth tuning stuff because you guys are both really good around the computer as well.
Awesome.
Well, do you want to let's do maybe like a quick recap for the folks that have maybe been under a rock and kind of tell them about the 2.0 Snot Rocket 2.0 and kind of give us a recap on that car.
Yeah, so basically, I bought that roller from Joel Steele. It was the stick shift world record car at the time. I knew the car worked well. I had my old car. We just ran 690 with it. I felt pretty accomplished with that car, and I didn't want to bring it to this next stage, but I wanted to go faster. So, it just worked out better. Zach Myers bought the car. A friend of mine, he's local. He was going to let me still be able to run the car and work on the car. So we got to kind of control its outcome to make sure it was living a good life. And he's done a phenomenal job with that. Bringing it even to the next stage within the current confines of like what that car is as a true, complete factory body, factory window street car.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I was looking to build a monster, and we did that. It was a tough decision to sell the other car. Like it was pretty split between all friends and family. Like, oh, I think it's a mistake. The other car is so good, and now it's pretty obvious that we made the right decision. The other car is living a great life. The new car is a monster. We're doing things that shouldn't be done, and we're just as surprised as everyone every time we take it to the next step. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So what did the car run before? Sorry. What did 1.0 run this time?
For
Sick week.
For Sick Week this year, we set the car. It was entered in Super Street, and we were looking to win that class with it. It was actually its first quarter mile passes since the rebuild because Zach had it broke a crankshaft and it had a fire, and we did a 25.3, rewired the car, had a dry sump, a lot of upgrades, and we went out testing a couple times before Sick Week. it kind of got done just leading up to that event. And then he ran it first pass out there, it went 7:30. So we knew that, you know, it was a contender for Super Street. You know, and we weren't even leaning on it at all. Like, I think I barely even saw 30 pounds of boost on that pass. Like, it was just a nice, easy, safe pass, you know, that I could repeat. Then after day one, it got brought up that the car had a wishbone in the back. And there was a rule in Super Street about not having a wishbone. He missed that reading the rules. So then he got bumped to modified. At that point, he was up against me, Devin, Garrett, everyone else in modified. And,
He's like,
Tough deal overall.
he wasn't feeling too good about it. And I know that, but it was like, hey, let's just run your race. It's a long week. See what happens. You know, it's just have fun. You know, it's about the memories. It's not always about winning. You go to an event, especially a drag and drive. You know, you never know what's going to happen. Enjoy yourself. Have a good week. We didn't touch the tune-up in that car all week. Literally, it was the same run. I looked at the log a couple days in it, and you know, it was just, he was one and done every day. The thing just made laps, and you know, drag and drive or racing did its thing, and two competitors got knocked out, and he ended up in second place with a consistent car, because that's what wins races, is a consistent car, not necessarily a fast car.
Well, and dude, that is one of the truest things, especially about this event, because man, we really did see some attrition of some very fast cars that have been known to go very fast for you know, a week. So that's pretty cool. Now you did say this was his first one.
Yes, this was his first drag and drive. Yeah, so
that dude spoiled.
Yeah, he did good. He had his family followed. They entered sick ward, so they got to, like, you know, experience it alongside with them. You know, I think it was a good experience for their whole family.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a ton of families that came along with it. That's what I really like about the sick ward side of stuff, is like there's so many extra people that are there, and some really cool cars that were in the sick ward. I mean, like, dude, we did a whole album just on the cars that were at South Georgia one day, you know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. I was running around I was getting interviews and stuff in the pits, and I was like, I gotta get over here and look at these. I ended up in the sick word car, so that's pretty cool. Well, who was your probably? I mean, obviously you didn't have much competition this week in your class, but you know, when you're kind of prepping for this, who were you eyeballing? Who were you trying to outrun, or were you just, hey, we're going to run our best race?
Yeah, typically we go into it and, you know, we're racing ourselves. You know, we know we have a, you know, a fast car. We know we have a premier car, and we were racing ourselves. We knew that the last time we ran the car to the quarter was like real fast was FL2K, when it went 6:33. At World Cup, the track prep and the temperature didn't allow us to run the 60 foots to get back there. But since then, we upgraded the turbochargers, and the car went a lot faster to the 8. So we knew it was going to be capable of going faster to the quarter, you know, at the same boost levels. So we were going there, had our head down, prepped on, you know, we need to make a run every day, make a fast run every day, and then kind of see where we end up.
How many passes did you end up making this week?
10.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Was there a day that you one and done, or did you go ahead and make two passes each day?
We one and done the first day in Orlando. We one and done in Bradenton the second day, and then that was it on the one and done.
Wow, we could have probably one and done SGMP, knowing now, but we wanted to seal that deal there.
We wanted to just get a couple of numbers shaved off.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Well, what was the slowest pass? Did you have any passes that you spun or anything like that, or were they all just good licks?
Go ahead, Jim. You know.
Yeah, so that would be really Gainesville was our toughest track as far as track conditions. I mean, still our slowest pass was still a 6:49. So you know, slow is a relative term. So you know. I said I was funny because I was like, man, I'm happy we went on 49, and then you go back and you think about it and you go, that was faster than the pass we did all of Sick Week 2023, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, and we were at, you know, I mean, I feel like that track, you know, at the time that we were running and things like that, you know, I could walk right across it and like I could roll on the ground, I would be okay. You know, I wouldn't really feel any type of way. You know, it felt more like not a no prep, like it just wasn't there. And to see the car work that well in that condition, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we adapted to it. So we knew first run of the day was our best shot. It is at every track because the way the drag and drives are run, you know, the first run's at 10 o'clock, and then by the time 1 o'clock comes, the sun's on the track. No matter where you are, it's the worst time to run, right?
Yep.
And the car left really well. I think we went like a 118 60 foot. It was on track to run like a 638. And on the 2-3 gear change, it spun real bad. It got into traction control, and the ignition timing got so low that it created an anti-lag effect. It created more manifold pressure, and then it hit a boost cut of 58 pounds. So the run was over. So then we had to get back in line, and then that 649 was dead. We were in all run. They weren't even prepping at all.
Oh man, yeah, that's dangerous because you guys are, who knows who's sitting next to you or in front of you or who's wheeled down stuff moments before.
Right. Yeah, and we saw that. We went back and was like, okay, no prep mode. Like, get the front end as much travel as possible. Take the weight off. Put the weight in the back. Add more fuel. Change the tune-up. It was a completely different car than what was running the other days.
Well, yeah, and you start talking about like that first group, everything is right. So let's talk about like prep coming into this, and then we definitely want to talk about track prep in a minute. But what were some of the things that you guys did to the car? Because you raced just a few months ago, right? Anyways, I feel like I saw something about that. And then what did you guys have to do to get the car ready to race for Sick Week?
Really, to get ready for Sick Week, the only thing that we had to do was the stuff for the street driving, because over the past year, I changed the front end on the car to more of the factory replacement panels with stock headlights. And when we did that, the bumper didn't have an opening for like a radiator grill, and I wanted to keep it blocked off for aero for the speeds for the racing. So we had an idea to make an inlet to the radiator through the turbo ducts that would take off for street driving.
Oh, nice.
So we made that. We got the trailer ready. The trailer hitch that didn't work, we got that ready. I put new doors on the car that were lighter. Like, just refining things and kind of getting it ready for the drive.
Yeah. Well, now you have to tell the trailer hitch story.
It was day one. We left Orlando, headed into Bradenton. We got the Vero, pulled off at a gas station. Got out, or close to a gas station. We didn't actually make it in. I got out, looked behind the car, and I'm like, "Hey Jim, the trailer's on the ground." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "The trailer's on the ground." So the parachute mount broke completely off the back of the car.
Oh man!
Luckily, we were in Vero Beach, which I grew up close to that area, and I know a lot of people there. And Eric Kenwood Racing, at 6 p.m. I messaged him, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, want to open the shop?" And we limped it. We were only like 5 miles from his shop, so we limped it into the shop, took the whole back of the car apart, re-welded and braced, and got that all situated, and then rolled into Bradenton about 3 a.m.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, how late of a night did that turn into?
Yeah, it was like 3, but the same thing. We had a similar thing happen last year, first night with the oil pump. So we felt like it was just like our first day deal, right? Like, get it done.
This is what's going to happen,
right? Yeah. We can fix it. It wasn't catastrophic, so we weren't really feeling any kind of way about it. We just got it done and got into Bradenton.
We joked if it was anything like the previous year, we're going to be doing all right.
Yeah.
And while that joke was true, it was not like the previous year.
No, we ended up working on the car second night and third night also.
Yeah.
But.
Oh man, brutal. So what were some of the repairs that you guys had to do during the week?
Go ahead, Jim.
So trailer hitch on day one.
Yeah.
And then
bumper.
What was the rear bumper day two?
Which was our fault from the trailer hitch repair. There's carbon under the back of the car. It acts like a diffuser. It seals the air off from the bumper. We had to take the bumper off. There was a lot of rivets and little hardware that held the carbon to the bumper, and we didn't have the correct hardware to get it reattached perfectly. So that carbon pulled up on that run, and the air got behind the bumper, and then
that's it.
Yeah.
Which kind of turned into a funny story overall, because Brett's like, "Hey, like just cut it off. Like, like we need to go fix this deal, so just cut the bumper off." So I grabbed an angle grinder. Just literally cut right through the back of the bumper and got this, huge chunk off the whole corner that wrapped around to the side. And then it became a joke. A guy came over and Brett ended up giving it to him. And then, the rest is kind of
the other bumper's on eBay for $76,000. Right?
Yeah. Somebody wants to go bid on that. Feel free.
Nice.
Pretty sure that's not getting paid. But.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Do they know who you are?
But and then day 3 was the third member. We developed a pinion opinion bearing line, and that was pretty significant.
I would say so. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I felt it before the last pass of Gainesville. When I put it in gear, the drive shaft rotated a little more than it usually does, and I'm like, oh, it's broke. And then made the pass okay, and we got on the road, and it was broke. So we just started logistically on our drive, getting locating a third member, locating a shop to work on the car, and then we drove it to SGMP and had someone drive up a third member, and when we swapped it in.
That's awesome. So
I'll tell you what, let's go back real quick because it's kind of funny that when Brett says there's a problem, there is a problem. We jacked it up, and like this is like a joke going back, all the time. But like if he hears something, it's there. You just got to go find it. And he was like, no, let's jack it up and roll it. He rolled it over, and he said, that was weird, And I was like, well, count your blessings. That's cool. Like finally one where it wasn't right. We pulled out of Gainesville. We looked at each other. We're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I was like, it's broke.
Yeah, it's broke. Cool. Yeah, it's broke. It was a loud drive from there on to Georgia.
Well, and the one thing about that is then you can't not hear it. Like it's there no matter what.
Right. I knew it was bad. So, but we were able to get it fixed. And again, it wasn't anything catastrophic or super, super bad. Basically, the whole back of the car broke this year during 6 weeks.
Well, the good thing is now all that's fixed. So it's ready for the season.
Yep.
Yeah, it's much better than what it was. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. Well,
except for it needs a wrap bumper. That's it.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Right. What color is that called?
Well, it's a wrap, so it's it's like wasabi, neon, fluorescent. It's like worded like that. Like I forget what company. It's not even like one of the main companies. It's like a weird company. When I first got that car, I just went online and literally ordered every single green wrap there was as a sample because it always looks different in person than it does online. And sure enough, like that was the color I think that I liked the least on the internet. And when I saw it in person, we were like, oh yeah, that's it. Like that's
you're like, one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, well, it's super cool. Yep. Well, lead us into the last day. You guys are, you've got yourself fixed. You end up day 4 SGMP. Things are going well, and then the drive back. I mean, 270 miles is a bunch, especially to end the week on. Any struggles or anything like that?
No. So the only struggle was us wanting to not drive that car anymore for the week to get to the next track, finish the deal, and get out of that loud ass car. That was the longest mileage, and that was our shortest drive day because basically we were over it, just ready to finish it. Most of the time I cruise that car like 55 to 58 miles an hour. It's like 2,800 RPM. I don't know. It's just like a feel good RPM cruise speed, which is relatively slow for highway driving. Last day was like 65 miles an hour, 3,400 RPM. We were just like bombing it the whole way. Jim barely got out of the car to take the picture at the checkpoint, and I was already peeling out to the next spot.
We looked at each other at the end, and we were like, "Man, we made really good time."
Yeah, it was only like 5 hours.
Yeah, that's probably the long drive on the last day. That's rough, dude. That's so rough because by then, especially like you guys are on probably, 12 hours of combined sleep the whole week. And now you've got to go literally all day. You make a pass in the morning. And you're like, let's please get on the road.
Right. Yeah. And, my car is not comfortable. Like, it's, you look like Devin's car and it's really built for drag and drive. He's got like radio and air and like seat massager and convertible and all this kind of stuff, our car, like it's a race car that could drive on the street. Like, we're toughing through it on the drives for sure.
Yeah, I guarantee it, man. That's pretty crazy. Well, are there any creature comforts that are in the plans, or is this car a race car that comes out for some street drive endurance sync week?
Yeah, that's it. Like drag and drives to us, like we're racers. We're there to go rounds, put up big numbers, and win classes. So creature comforts, like the air shock was cool this year. We put an air shock on it to help take the weight of the trailer. That made it ride pretty good. But other than that, like the car doesn't steer very well, and the seats aren't very comfortable. So.
I'm just happy to have a full passenger seat.
Nice. You mean it's set up to go as straight as possible in 6.5 seconds or less, and he doesn't care about 887 miles of street driving.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, if the car makes the drives, everything's cool.
Yep.
It's a little loud and a little uncomfortable, but what do you expect?
Right. Well, let's run through some power plant stuff. Again, everybody knows it's Coyote stuff, but like what turbo size now, and then your transmission, everything like that.
Yeah, so transmissions at M&M Turbo 400, close ratio deal with a lockup.
That's awesome.
The engines, fast forward racing engines, Coyote. It's a factory Ford block with aftermarket sleeves. It does have a billet crankshaft in it now. We're trying to bring it to the next power level. The turbos are
3,000 horsepower, right? Is that
right. And that was the power level we ran the car on at Sick Week was the same power level that we ran it on the whole end of last year, which we ran on the stock crankshaft.
That's awesome.
We're starting to get into the main bearings a little bit, so we went to a billet crank to take some of the flex out of it, and we'll see how it holds up. I'm sure it'll be better. Like billet, Windberg over a stock crank, that'll be better.
Yeah.
Turbochargers are precision 8385s. This was our first time running to the quarter on those turbos. Last year at Sick Week, we had 7680s. We went to an 8080. We ran the 8080s most of the year. And after, we didn't actually race any events with the 8385s. Was when we did some 8th mile stuff with them, and then switched the car back in quarter mile gearing for Sick Week.
Wow. That's pretty intense, dude, to come out and swing at it like that and it go down. So what's that car running the 8th?
So on that last pass, it went 412 at 184.
Wow. Man, that's intense.
Yeah, in November, we went out, put some 8th mile gearing in the trans in the rear end, and it went 409 at 185.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. And that was still like drag and drive trim. Like the car doesn't change as far as cooling system, fuel system, all that stuff. It's the same. The only thing difference there was the gearing.
Wow, man, that's intense, dude. That's really the folks at home. I think, everybody that's coming into drag and drive now doesn't understand what kind of I don't know, just sorting that it takes to put a 3,000 horsepower, 300 and something cubic inch engine to be able to live on the street like that, man. You guys are really changing the game a bunch. I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's wound up pretty tight. Last day, someone came and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna turn it up next pass?" And I'm like, "Man, it's 300 cubic inches. It's turned up every pass. Like, trust me, like it's up."
Yeah. There's not much more up from here. Yeah. Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Billet crank for reliability.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the coolest parts about it is how versatile the car is, right? I mean,
Yep.
going 8th mile and actually being competitive and either going 8th mile racing, quarter mile racing, heads up racing, drag and drive, like that was really the full intention of, well, maybe not at this level what we originally thought when we were putting it all together, but I mean, to see what it's become now, it's pretty outstanding.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, let's switch up a little bit. Let's talk about, kind of how you guys dealt with some of the track prep. We heard some folks, throughout the week kind of struggle a little bit with, track prep and getting down and things like that. Like, I mean, is there any trash talk that's going to come to some big floppy tire guys?
I'm always down for that. You let me
We'll insert Jim for that. Like, I give respect where respect's due. Like, what you pick your tire, that's your choice.
Yep.
As far as the big tire racing, I've been asked many times now, like, "Oh, were the tracks prepped in your favor?" Well, the tracks were prepped the same way they were prepped last year. They're the same way they're always prepped. If you're bringing your car down to these tracks for this event, these tracks are some of the best prep tracks in the country, right? It's the same thing as if we went up north or out west, we would know that we would be going to tracks not as prepped as what we're used to. So we would need to change our program or make adjustments according to that. But as far as the big tire stuff goes, I do have a little discrepancy in the fact that 3 days prior to Sick Week, Bradenton Motorsports Park, the same person prepping, ran the Pro Mod world record, 40 Pro Mods, which are the fastest in the country, with the same Trek prep as we ran, because they also ran X275 LDR Pro 275.
Yep.
So, that's a program adjustment. If you're used to running on slippery tracks with a lot of wheel speed, and now you're on a tight track, it doesn't mean it's not right for your car. It means your car's not right for the track.
Yep. That's a great way to answer that because man, we really did. I mean, there were a lot of folks that got. I mean, Bryant Goldstone, he got down 651, ran PBs all week. You know, they just had their stuff figured out. Jerry and Matt Sweet figured that huge cubic inch NA deal out. You know, they're one of their first times back out since drag week last year. So there were folks definitely figuring it out.
Yeah,
And
and
you
I'm
can
sure it's
tell,
not
like,
easy if you're used to running slippery tracks. Like I'm sure I've never ran a big tire car, so I know the difference. But I know like when we go to a slippery track, it's a lot different. But
Yeah.
you know that going into this event, it wasn't like it was a surprise or shouldn't have been
Yeah.
a surprise.
Jim,
yeah,
what's your thought?
which parts do you want me to go to? No, so yeah, I mean, I was just gonna comment. Like Brian Goldstone's car looks like it had a lot of wheel speed, right? It wasn't didn't have a ton of bite, which you could kind of see. Like a lot of the other big tire cars had a ton of bite in them, and I mean, my personal opinion is that's why they make so many holes inside of a 4-link bracket, right? And any brackets in general, like you got to, you can use them. They're there, So it's
Yeah.
just adapting. It's right. It's just adapting to whatever you're given.
Yeah.
If we could all, and just knowing that, yeah, we're at radial prep tracks, and they did prep different between slick and radial, but like you just got to adapt and overcome.
Right, and the prep strategy was the same. It was done for U.S. Street Nationals. The same was done for the import races at Orlando. They prep for radials and they prep for slicks at both those events, and both tires set records at the same event at all those tracks. I mean, Orlando has the records for the fastest big tire import cars have been 5s with 4 cylinders at that track like a couple weeks ago. So it's
Insane.
possible. But again, it's what you're used to racing to and knowing the setup. If you don't have the setup and you're trying to learn it there during the race, then it's not going to happen. But we know like Lutz was there for a full week before. Like we were out the Wednesday before. He was out there testing. And that's what it takes if you're going to compete at that level.
Yeah, yeah, and man, it was crazy to see all the cars down there testing the week before.
Oh yeah, it was packed. Like most of all the fast 6-week people are out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think somebody should also roll a set of 28s next to some of those tires and like really see the difference visually. Because it's not like we were on a 315 either, right? Like real deal 28, like.
Wow. And we almost were. I bought a set and I put it on the wheel and I put it on the car. And then Jim said he was out. I was gonna have to roll solo.
I was riding the trailer if we had to go on 315s.
Nice. Well,
I took them off.
Right. So, one of the biggest things you drive, obviously, Brett, you're racing the car, but did Jim drive any of the route or did you wheel that whole thing all the time?
I can't reach the pedals. Yeah. There's a substantial difference in height between us. I'm not saying Brett's like super tall. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy either, but I would need like I did have a 3-inch cushion, so at least we were eye level, underneath. But yeah, it's hard to reach the pedals. I'm full toe. My big toe needs to be a little bit longer to push the gas.
And I don't want to put those problems on Jim. Like if he hits a pothole wrong and breaks the wheel or something, I'm going to be mad at him for at least a year. So at least this way, if something happens, it's just my fault.
Yeah. And the number 1 bar is pretty low. I don't want to hit anything.
Yeah, you got to dodge reflectors on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty low. That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
so
I just do all the maps and stuff like that and make sure that we're on the route, because there was a lot of times where I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Google Maps. Maybe people weren't paying attention. But Brett's like, "Are we following them?" I'm like, "No, don't follow them. They're going the wrong way." It happened like 5 times too, and like everybody's like, "Hey, don't go that way." We're like, "Yeah, no, we're good." We're verifying it. Like we're not going to mess this deal up.
Right. So let's talk about. So you've obviously co-piloted a few times. Let's talk about like prep from your side. Are you over there? Do you do the Google Maps like drop the pin at the next turn, or are you just pretty good at reading a list now?
So what's cool is this year it had the multiple pin drops already in place, so it kind of kept you on the route. But there were so many alternate routes that it would try to move you around. So it was always just verifying that where they had the pin drops were still not trying to go around something. But yeah,
Nice.
previous to this event, we were dropping pins, like every 20 miles or every 15 miles or wherever major intersections were, and make sure that it's going to keep us on that route.
With like 2 phones, because the one wouldn't populate, so then you're trying to like put it onto the other one.
That's probably one of the hardest things. Yep.
Yeah, I literally brought 2 phones this year. I brought my work phone and then I brought my regular phone just in case. But thankfully, the pens were actually really good this year. So I give props to
Oh yeah, we
Stick with
navigated
guys.
pretty easy. Jim had it locked in. Like I actually he was solely that. I didn't even know the routes until the
Wow.
day, I didn't even really know. You know, I had so much
Yeah.
other stuff going on to concentrate on. I was like, hey, you know, he's doing the routes. That was his deal, and then he just told me when the turn we got there, and that was it.
Right. Well, speaking of street driving, did you swap tires this week? Did you drive on the radials? What was your strategy there?
Yeah, we swapped tires. We had some Coopers or whatever they are, 275s. We had to stay 275s, of course.
Also 28s, yeah.
Some Cooper Cobras. Those are race car
Yeah.
tires.
I'm pretty sure that's what they are. In general, I don't
Yeah,
remember what they are.
yeah.
White walls
But
out,
they
you
weren't
know?
white letters out, so I don't know how race car they were. You know, so white letters were in on this tail, but
No, white
I
letters
don't even
are
know if
out,
the white
man.
were they out
Yeah, they're out.
white
Yeah.
anymore.
They're just not white anymore.
They're just not white anymore.
They
Yeah.
have brake dust all over them.
A lot of
Nice.
brake dust. A lot of
Yeah.
brake dust.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Well,
cool.
I
I mean, I
probably
don't know
didn't
if you
clean
guys
them
have.
from last year. They're probably still
Oh no.
the same
No,
brake
there's
dust from last year.
no. I put my hand when we put them inside the trailer. I was like, oh, sick. But yeah, definitely got to wash this again.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like, I mean, Brett has a really good checklist for like swapping things around, like between tracks. Like, we kind of both have our own deals where it's like, hey, like he's going to be working in the back of the trunk, get the fuel stuff, and I'll be working up front, you know, kind of getting it swapped over from the radiator side of the house. And I mean, if you've never seen the checklist, it's really good. It's got it for each day, you know, for taking on and then putting off, and then making sure, you know, if somebody did something, you just go back there and check it off, and you see, okay, cool, go do something
Nice.
else. You know.
So is that laminated then, and you guys just Sharpie marker that dude?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it sits on the trailer now.
Oh,
Nice.
like it's glued to the inside door. Like
You open the back door.
Yeah, you open the back door,
It's
it's sitting
there.
right at the end. And then actually, it was nice. There's a little chain there this year, so we just stuck our pin right on there,
Yeah.
and then we would never lose it because I'm good at that.
That's awesome.
What about route stops? What was your favorite route stop of the week?
Man, we ended up on the road so late every night with the repairs and stuff. Like there wasn't a lot. We didn't get a lot of road action this year. You know, it was like we did the drives, we got to the points, and maybe there'd be one car there, but then like the spots were closed already. You know, like the
Gotcha.
cool spots. So yeah, we ended up kind of driving late at night every day. So we didn't really get to enjoy the amenities of some of the places.
Just
I
kind of
think,
take
like,
a picture and run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
day 4 at Hoot Owl, I think that was probably the one where people were actually still there, and like
Wow.
we got the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
So well, and also the Harley Davidson too. But I don't know, best one.
The Harley shop was cool because they had a whole party going on and stuff. Ty was doing burnouts. Like, yeah, that was probably the best one for us. I mean, there was probably better ones for other people again because, like, you know, we got there so late, most of the places were closed.
So pizza was good day 1. Stop checkpoint too. That was pretty good pizza for
Zorro's.
only good thing we ate.
That was awesome. I had the stuffed meat. I think, man, highly recommend that. That was good.
They were on it. We called ahead and we said, hey, we're going to be there in 20 minutes. You know, if we eat a pizza, they're like, yeah, sure. And that was it. We walked right in, grabbed the pizza, and we were on the road again.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, they were super nice guys, and they were man, there were like 2 guys working behind the counter there that were moving so fast. Like they were like 3 or 4 people deep in line for drinks, and then by the time you get up to the thing, it was they had a system figured out pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Well, you know, one of the biggest things is when you're doing that and you're making those route stops, are you guys planning out fuel stops? Did you carry fuel with you? How'd you handle that?
Yeah, we had fuel with us. We had 93 with us pretty much all the time. We'd like to use it just to balance out the trailer more, less tongue weight. That was definitely our key after day 1. But yeah, I mean, we always had fuel on us, and I think there was only one time where we pulled over. We thought we heard something, and then we got back in the car and we realized that we probably should have put gas in.
Yeah, we just kept you know, the car holds about 8 gallons, and then we keep 5. Like we just have 1 can of 93. It's just 5 gallons. So then, you know, we'll stop at a gas station, either fill up the car, or if the gas stations are spread out, then we'll use the 5 gallons from the trailer. But you know, by the time you burn 8 gallons, you're kind of ready to get out of that thing and stretch anyway. So you're not really mad. You gotta stop for fuel.
Yeah,
it gets pretty good gas mileage too. So
that's what I was going to ask.
Don't let it fool you.
Well, it's only 300 cubic inches. Yeah, yeah. Please. Yeah, so that's always a question we seem to get when we're at the gas station. People are putting gas in these cars and they're like, "Man, what kind of mileage this thing get?" So what kind of mileage were you guys seeing?
I don't know that we calculated
I
it, but that last day we were running
Yeah.
hard, and
I
we
mean,
only
it's
stopped
probably
twice.
10. It's probably 10 to 12. Like
Dude,
even
that's awesome.
it's probably something like that. But yeah, like I said, it's 302 cubic inches. The engine is not exotic in NA form, right? It's actually lower compression than it would be stock. It has a bigger
Oh, man.
camshaft in it. It probably makes like 500 on the motor.
Mm.
So,
Nice.
it's just, it's not really using a lot of fuel.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
We guys talked about it being loud and everything. Do you guys use like rugged radios or anything to communicate?
No, we tried that the first year, but then anything that silenced me enough to hear talking, I couldn't hear the car, and I couldn't handle that. So we just yell at each other back and forth.
Yeah,
So
we just
so it's
our ears just got punished.
I was just saying, so it's 900 miles of
The,
loud.
la- the last day
Yeah.
it was so quiet when we got back to the house, and it was like my ears were like wah 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 wah, and I was like, ah, yes, silence, but not silence.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a hard one. The ride home and then just the quiet after you get there.
Mhm.
When you get in your truck at the end of the day, it's glorious.
Oh, at the end of the week, yeah. I thought my
Yeah,
truck was
it's
broke. Like I had to keep looking down to see if it was running. Like I was like, it's so quiet, and smooth.
yeah, you have too much time to think about your thoughts too. Like you had to like play
Yeah.
music or something. It's like a
Right.
lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Well, let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about some tuning aspects. Like, what do you use for engine management? How which one of you guys does the tuning? How do you figure it all out?
It's on a Motec M150. So the engine ECU runs the whole car. It's a PDM supplying power to everything, and then the Motec does traction control, ignition, injection. Everything's all done through that one box. Joe Spetter, who is a good friend of ours, he's the main tuner of the car. He's done most of all the leading up tuning
Nice.
and base tuning and stuff like that. We do make track adjustments and things like that ourselves, and we tune Jim's car, and Joe does also. It's kind of a collab. Like you watched my last video, like, Jay's behind the car, Joe's behind the car, me, Jim, and then, Joe, the engine builder. We're all working together
That's
on
cool.
this thing. But the Motec is where all the magic's happening.
Right. Well, why did you choose to go with that? Is it just something that you guys use within the shop stuff, or is that what everybody likes?
Well, actually, Drag Week 2019 is the reason why we're on a Motec. At the time, Jim's car was still on a stock ECU, and I had recently put an AEM Infinity on my car because I was always, pushing a little harder. And Drag Week, I was going into the last day. I think I was tied for first for Super Street for 850 class, and was having cam sync issues the last day. I couldn't get a runoff, and that was the third major event that now I lost because the ECU would lose cam sync, and that's actually where I met Jay from Real Street. Was at that event. We
How
saw us
cool.
having troubles. He was there with Gio. He came over. Jim had already known him from his Focus days. We won't talk about that. And
Dark times.
dark times the kingdom. So he came over, made some calls. He was trying to help with the ECU to figure out what was going on. And he told me, he's like, hey, if you want to not have bad memories like this and start to have good memories, like you need to put a Motec in your car. These problems won't exist. These problems won't happen anymore. And some time went by after that race, and we got a price from him and stuff like that, and he offered to tune the cars, mine and
Wow.
Jim's at that time, which was big because Jay, you couldn't buy him as a tuner. He wasn't a tuner. He was the owner of Real Street, and he tuned his cars, or that was it. So like that aspect alone kind of pushed us over the edge. Like, well, we're gonna get to work with Jay and to tune our cars. So we both bought a Motec. I put mine in my car first. We started tuning it, and then we put it in Jim's car, and then never looked back. He was absolutely right. The ECU just does what you tell it to do, and if there's a problem, one time I called, and Jay's like, "Okay, just take your cell phone out." He's like, "All right, turn on the camera, and then turn the phone around, take a picture, and it was me, and it's like, there's the problem. It's not the ECU. And he was right. There was a setting that was wrong somewhere in there, and
Wow.
fixed it.
That's pretty awesome. That's a great way to say it. That's pretty cool.
It's the truth too. It's funny to think about, but it's the truth. Like it doesn't miss a beat,
Wow.
unless you did something wrong. That's the only time.
How fun. Well, what's the plan for this year, man? What's the I'm not going to say goal, but where are you going to race? All that kind of stuff.
Well, basically the plan is to continue like we did last year and just win races, right? Like that's
Just
why
dominate.
I wanted, I built the car to win races, not necessarily to run a certain ET, which we had mental goals and we're far exceed that now. So like, I don't. If it goes a couple numbers faster, that's cool. But like, I feel like we're just in bonus rounds. Like it shouldn't even be going as fast as it's going. So first race coming up is Streetcar Takeover in Bradenton. They've created an Extreme 28 quarter mile class for cars like mine. So this is going to be the first one of those events. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then Texas 2K, we're entered in the street racer class in that event. And then after that, I have all the big races on the radar that we did last year. Like World Cup is awesome. FL2K is an awesome race. But yeah, other than that, kind of wait, see if something kind of sparks our interest or what the timeline looks like, what we're up to. I definitely want to do another drag and drive this year. Maybe Hot Rod Drag Week, just because like it's drag week, right? Like no matter what, it's the
and it's the 20th running,
Yeah, so it's probably sold out already. I don't know if I bought a ticket already, so I'm gonna go back and look.
it hadn't opened yet. It hadn't opened
yet. So we're probably still
but yes, it is sold out already.
Yeah, it sounds like it's sold out.
That's how those things usually go.
Yeah.
Like calling everyone I know, trying to get in on the wait list.
Yeah. Do they know who you are?
Yeah.
I think it opens like February 24th, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick.
That's pretty soon.
That's good then. Yeah, I think we need to do it because there was some internet speculation that we wouldn't be able to be competitive on tracks that weren't our tracks, and we race around the country with my car all the time, and I'm confident we can race on any track surface. So I think it'd be fun to go up at drag week and put some numbers down.
That'd be fun, and I was really looking forward to you and Devin. Kind of, I really figure you guys were going to have a really, really tight race. And him leaving, I was talking to him before he got out of there, and he was a little sad he was leaving as well.
Yeah,
so
we were ready.
I think it could have been fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk trash online to each other, but me and him were like, we're on the same page. Like we were both pumped up going into day one. Like, all right, like this is going to be a fun week. Like this is going to be fun. And then he set the record, and then he set the record for the shortest time holding a record.
Nice. Yeah.
And like it like that set the pace. Like it was going to be epic.
Yeah.
And then we didn't see him for a while, and then we found out why, because the intake valves left the chat. But
that's the way it works whenever you're turning it up like that, because you got a 300 cubic inch snot rocket behind you.
Right. Oh no, that was his first quarter mile pass on the twins with the lockup. Like it was, and the engine was off. I think at like 800, 700 feet. Like that. Yeah, he was gonna give us a run for our money. Like there was no doubt it was gonna go as fast or faster than what we went that week.
Yep.
No question.
Yeah, we were actually super bummed when we heard the news, because like that competitiveness will drive us to do a lot of.
Oh yeah.
But then the focus shifted on day two. We found out that Lutz only ran a 690, and that we had the overall. So then it was like, oh wait, like we can race Jeff Lutz. Like we didn't even know this was possible. So then we started racing again.
Yep. Yeah, I can only imagine what that felt like. Like, hang on, this, because then you start doing the math, kind of like, well, if he does, we need to do this.
That was the whole week after that point. Once we realized we were in first, I mean, like South Georgia, we first passed off the trailer when it was 6:35. That would have been good enough to pack it up. But we looked, and I mean, Brett knows, like, I'm not super competitive. Like, I'm competitive, but not to a point. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? Like, you want to keep going, or you want to make another, head up, or what? And I was like, no, let's make another pass. Like, we need more numbers. And like, it just, it just helps seal the deal, right? Once you start seeing all those extra numbers add up, it's really hard to get them back on an average.
Well,
Yeah.
when you're in day 4 or day 5, you got to calculate the other days into it.
Yeah.
Like going into the last day, he would have needed like a 590 or better pass, I think, to beat our average, which, you know, he wasn't on pace for that, how the week was
Right.
going. Yeah.
Yep. So, you know, you guys have been around this a long time. You know it as well as I do. Like, do you feel he'll come back? You think maybe we may see him? You think he's going to wait for sick week, or you think he's going to come back out to another one later in the year?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know what you know he has going on with you know, the Oklahoma things or that. But I mean, he's OG drag and drive, still holds
Yeah.
the fastest record of all time. Like to be in the runnings with him was pretty amazing.
Yeah, him coming out and doing like a 6:15 on day one or 6:12. I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna be a
on.
good week. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
Yeah, he stopped. He was at his trailer on the end of day 5 after we packed up, or we were packing up, and he congratulated. I was walking by trying to go to the bathroom, and he congratulated, stopped, talked for a little bit, and he said he was definitely going to be back out, and he was going to keep going at it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see that. You know, I said, "Man, it was like you left." He goes, "No, I never left. I just took a break." And I was like, "All right, cool." So you're
That's right.
back in it, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm back in it." He goes, "Especially after this."
Yeah,
I said, "All right."
that's pretty cool. Well, yeah, I'm excited. I was supposed to end up talking to him for a little bit, and then man, like, listen, Friday I took 300 and something videos Friday. So like, by the time I got back, they were packed up and rolling. So I'm excited to see that kind of level coming back, and just again, you know, what you guys are doing to push it, because all the races you won last year, all the races you'll win this year, you know, a lot of that is those articles are written about that stuff, and then they also drop in about drag and drive and how you know, you guys just dominated at that. So that only helps grow the community and the sport.
yeah, yeah, and it's such a good aspect of drag racing rather than the normal
Yep.
events. It's a totally different vibe, totally different feeling. I tell everyone, if you haven't been on a drag and drive, you have to go on a drag and drive.
Yep.
Like we tell all of our friends, like they haven't been yet, and we tell them every year, like it's the best time you'll ever have in your car or racing your car. Because
Yep.
even all the street cars, they're just race cars, right? You trailer them to the track, you race them, you trailer them home. Like you
Yep.
get to spend the time in your car, loud or not loud. You're still, you know, the bond you have with your car is why we all got in the cars.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of it too, like for guys like you that race at a very, you know, at a high level, I would say this is almost like a vacation that you get to do that with. You know what I mean? Like you guys were racing obviously at a high level this last week, but at the same time, you're not driving that car to Texas 2K. You know, you're
No,
not gonna unload that car and drive 300 miles in between race days. You know.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the craziest part is
it's
that
neat.
it's like you know, depending on how many passes you make that day, if you think about it, like you went to a test and two and you made 3 or 4 passes, and then after you're done, you load it up and you go drive to the next track, you go do the same thing over again. But now make it competitive. You know,
Right.
like you think, you know, it's hard to comprehend, you know, mentally
Yep.
what it takes to be successful at it as well as, you know, physically and making sure everything's working with a car.
Yep. Well, Jim, are we going to see you behind the wheel in your car? You going to get that thing back out and do some drag and drives in the next little
Definitely. I
while?
just came in from I'm working on a 9-inch rear end in my car and mini tub and 25.3. So I want to get the safety up that way I can not do
Yep.
the 850 class again. I'd like to go a little bit faster and kind of work around that. So yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully either later in the year or next year, you know, it just depends.
that's awesome.
You know, it definitely takes 2 people to run Brett's car and like run it well and actually have a
Yep.
successful event. So, you know, it's just I love drag and drives either way, whether I'm riding co-pilot or driving. So,
Yep.
you know, I'm fine with whatever we go with for future. I mean,
How
it's kind of
cool.
hard to put a car like Brett's on the sideline when you know it's like number one. You know, like
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, until he says, "Hey, like I'm done," you know, like I think I'm gonna do something different, or I don't want to do a drag and drive at this time. Let's go do another one with yours. Like, sure, you know, I'm
Yep.
game, but it's pretty cool to be a part of, you know, what's happening with that car and kind of how progress and how knowledge comes about, and you know how much you learn just in general. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
every time we have that car out, we learn 1 or 10 things. Like even this last week, you know, I was talking to Job on the way home, and we know we found something we want to try in first gear, and like I was really close to going on the track on Saturday with it to test just what we learned from racing the car that fast all week, because we know that there's numbers there, you know.
Yeah.
And Jim told me I wasn't allowed to go to the track, so I didn't go to the track. But, I'm gonna
like,
be
I
out
need
there
a
in
break,
weeks.
bud.
Yeah.
I need a break. I need one day.
Give me a moment,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
But that's just how Brett is. I mean, look, last 2019, right? You had the cam sync issues. You're pissed off at it. We were driving all the way home from Virginia from there, and he, instead of going home, he went straight to BMP and tested the car.
Yeah,
Oh my
well, I got like a new software from
Yeah.
AMJ. I called a guy and they sent us some development software to try. And I was like, gotta try it. Yeah, I drove all the way to BMT, raced that night from Virginia.
Yeah, that was a lot.
So if you end up doing like Hot Rod Drag Week, would you consider doing another event and trying to run for the Drag and Drive World Champion?
Uh,
3.
which one would that be?
Just a third national level event. So you got what, Six Summer? I forget what the other ones are. Midwest Drags.
Okay, so if you win 3, then you are the
Yeah.
world champion. Is that what it
It,
is?
it
Oh.
it'll take 3 to do it. It's what it took Bryant last year to win the world championship.
I have to see where
didn't-
Six
never
Summer
thought about
falls
it.
with
Yeah.
Drag Week.
Uh,
Yeah.
Six
That's a lot of
Summers,
PTO.
June 9th through 14th.
yeah,
That's a lot of
Yeah, so-
PTO.
yeah. So what you could do now, I'm not saying, I'm not telling you guys a great strategy here, but you could go out and kick puppies at Drag Week, and then
Kick puppies.
end up doing Southeast Street Meet, which is an 8th mile event, which is kind of in your area. Be a little easier and a
That'd
little
be cool.
closer to home. Not easier, but closer to home.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the last one of the season in November. So it's 4 days of racing in 5 tracks. They do one day where they race 2 different tracks on the same day. It's
Got it.
a
Are those
whole
tracks close to each other? That sounds.
yeah,
Wild.
60 or 80 miles, something like that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
nice.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
tracks in
really
one day.
a neat setup. You'll have to. So we talked to Brian Golson about it after he won, but the distance wasn't the factor. Like they had been up till 2 or 3 o'clock the night before, slept in the car, because they couldn't get to a hotel. Car wouldn't start. They're in a gas station parking lot. End up showing up to the track at like 11. Make their passes. They had to make 2 passes and then get back in the car. So I mean, like a full changeover race. Get back in the car. Full changeover to get on the road. Back to the next track. Full changeover to race again.
If it was only 60 miles, I think I would just go and race trim.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Drink
Man,
some
we might just
ethanol,
roll and race
just
trim,
roll
call it a day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that would happen for 60 miles.
Yeah, Southeast Street and Utrilli, it was one of my favorites that I've done so far. It's pretty cool, and it's obviously hosted by Devin, so that dude knows how to go about that stuff. Well, guys, we're kind of coming up here to we got a couple more things to cover as far as the show stuff, but we definitely have to talk about Brett's new position. So we want to kind of hear about that, and kind of throw your pitch out there. Let everybody know what you're going to be doing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I recently accepted a job with Motion Raceworks, be working under Doug Cook as the business development manager for all the brands there. And it's going to be awesome. It's just, I'll be able to do something that I'm fully passionate about every day, which is going to be development, creating products, helping people build their race cars and fulfill needs that exist in the community that and provide solutions that aren't there, right? Like to build a car like ours is becoming more normal because it's easier for people to make 2,000 horsepower, 2,500 horsepower, but the parts and the way to get there, there's no book written on this anymore. There's just people that know because they've done it, and then they keep it tight to themselves because either if they don't want to help their competition or whatever the case may be, but
Right.
Fuel system stuff, dry sump, like very simple things in 1,000 horsepower car become very, very complicated in a 2,000 horsepower, 2,500 horsepower car. And, when you make a mistake, it's, very, very expensive because costing, now you're talking about a lot more expensive an engine or vehicle, so we have a lot of exciting stuff in the works to provide things like this and just to keep pushing everyone further and make everyone better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to you, man. I sent you that in a message, but that's pretty awesome. That'll be really fun, and of course, it's going to help push. I just think you'll be great at that. I mean, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, we're all pretty pumped. It'd be my first, position as not a technician or a mechanic, as like the main role. So I'm excited
Wow.
to move into a position like that to obviously I'll still be working on my car and other cars, but
Yeah.
it's not the main gig.
Yeah. That's going to be awesome. Well, congratulations on that, sir. Anything we haven't talked about that we need to? I feel like we've gone over a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's hard to comprehend like a 634 with an O average overall. 5 tracks, right?
Yep.
Like on a small tire, like it's pretty freaking awesome. Like I still get excited. Like I'm still pumped up about it.
Yeah, well, going into sick week, our quarter mile personal best was a 6:33 with a 6. I mean, so our average, was almost matched that. Like,
Yeah.
And it went 227 every day, which leading into that event, it only had been like 218, 219.
And that's crazy. Just the swing of that, and like you guys didn't lay back. You know what I mean? Like you could have turned it down and been easy on it, but you didn't. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, and that's it too. Like, so if we go to TX2K or World Cup Finals, we'll make 10 passes. So like looking at it from like a run aspect of like what I know the car is okay with. Like I have a lot of confidence in the car. We know every inch of it. I know the engine. I know the trans. It's like 10 passes full out. Like first day, they're like, oh, you're gonna run it hard. I'm like, well, yeah. Like if it's gonna break today, then like it's not gonna make it to Friday. So like we run it hard. We run hard every time it's out. Like we know that it's gonna be okay. And if something's not, it's out of your control anyway. Like we've done everything we could up until that point and looked at the data close enough to know that everything is healthy as it was the pass before going into the next pass.
That's pretty awesome.
You think about opportunities that arise. Like if we would have took it easy after day 2, like we wouldn't have been in the running for first place. If you like, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, that's not us in general. Like we're gonna run it hard all the time just because it's fun.
Definitely not me.
Yeah, you're just gonna push it every time. I mean, like, the hardest part that I had was looking at the track and telling Brett either we're going up or we're going down, right? And like, okay, hey, we're gonna run a faster 60 foot. I mean, and there was a bunch of 60 foot set up, right? Like, do you want to go 113 this pass? Do you want to go 115? Do you want to go 118? Like,
wow.
Well, we have a little discussion beforehand, and we go, hey, these tracks should be all right. Let's go between these two, and then we'll make the call and go run it.
Yeah. So I have a driver switch in the car, and we have 9 map slots, and every slot is basically the complete tune-up is different. So from all the way down drive shaft curves, lockup strategies, all that stuff. Each one is based off an existing run, so we know what that will run. So when we go up there, we know we're between, we're going to run 4 or 5, depending on how the track is. And then, we get up there and then Jim usually makes that call, or I'll make that call in the car when I back up. I can usually tell how the track is by the difficulty of the car is to move on the surface in reverse, actually.
Wow.
And
that's
then,
cool.
We'll pick which map we're going to run and then send it on through there.
Well, let me ask you this is a really important question here. Does Jim wear the same shoes all the time, or to test track prep? Is that like, do you only buy whatever shoes you wear?
I normally only buy these cheapo $18 Walmart shoes, and
so that way you know the sticky. Yep.
I messed up before I went, and I actually put on the wrong shoes, which are like a foam sole shoe. And foam and any type of track prep, it doesn't matter what it is, does not hold up. And it pulled it off of South Georgia. Brett thankfully had a pair of shoes in his house that were new in the box, and I stole those for day 5. But yeah, they blew a hole in the bottom of those babies.
That's awesome. Last question here, I promise, and we'll let you guys go. You said you pulled into Bradenton at like 3 a.m. Did you guys do you camp? Do you hotels? What's your plan through the week?
We Airbnb. In Bradenton, we stayed at Cooper's house,
Nice.
so that was easy. We had an Airbnb the other days, and the last day we stayed at my house. I live about 35 minutes from OSW, so it was kind of not was on the route. So I stayed there. But the Airbnb deal, like we usually try to find one with a garage. Like I'm just like I get hotel nervous leaving the car out. Like it's just doesn't seem good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff can happen. Like the Trans Am guy we visited with earlier in the week. I mean, dude had the trailer stolen, and then returned in a couple hours. Well, not everybody's that lucky,
Yeah,
That was wild. That was
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
'Cause you
didn't
never
drive
hear
it. We had
about that either.
hotels, and we locked our cars together. We had these cable locks, and we just like ran them all the way through, just to like make it difficult for someone trying to steal them. But
Yep.
you never know. I know usually it's pretty good, but you don't trust people.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for the Airbnb neighbors though. They got wrecked each morning and each night. Just absolutely wrecked.
Those people just got here at 3 a.m. Why are they leaving at 6:30?
One of them, it was a duplex, and they got rocked. For sure.
Oh yeah, because like I warm the oil in the car. Like I have a startup procedure that I do for the engine, always for the aluminum rods.
Nice.
Like the oil needs to be plugged in for 30 minutes. The car needs to idle and heat soak for 10 minutes before I leave. So yeah, they get it for sure.
Nice.
They got the experience as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. Is it thundering?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know when you were on the show last year, almost a year ago now, you did tell the story of the green shoes, but for anybody that wasn't around then, why don't you give them that story again?
Yeah, so those turned into being my winning shoes. They stay in the trailer, and then if we win an event, I pull them out. The shoes were given to me. What year was that? 2019 or 18?
Yeah, 18,
A good friend of mine, Steve Kelly. He lives in Memphis. He was from Memphis. He said, "Man, I was trying to run a 7 with the 6R80 transmission at the time," and he's like, "If you run a 7 with a 6R80 transmission, I'm gonna give you my like Covenant pimp shoes." Like he's had these shoes for X amount of years, and he's like, "I'm gonna give them to you." And at the time, I didn't even see them, I didn't know what they were. And then we did run the 7, and he presented me with the shoes, and we just haven't been having a blast with them ever since. Like we were on NMRA live stream one time, and he was like dusting them off on the starting line, and then now we wear them when we win races, and we got to wear them a lot last year, so everyone gets to see them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, guys, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out tonight. We really appreciate it. Again, I can't believe it's been almost a year. I said back then that this would be the last time you were on, and obviously that's the case because you just dominated Sick Week this year. So congratulations again on that. That takes a huge workload to do that in a lot of mental capacity. So congratulations to you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it was to win the overall is it's just amazing. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Well, guys, where can people follow you? Where can they find all your stuff? Where can we see what's going on in your life?
Yeah, so basically everything of mine is if you just look Brett LaSala, so Facebook, Instagram. I got a little YouTube channel thing going now. We have a lot of information about the car, last dyno video, and all the races we did last year. It's on there. So yeah, just Brett LaSala on any of the platforms, and you should be able to see a green Mustang pop up.
Nice.
I'm just Jim Braun on Facebook or at the JFab on Instagram. That's it. I only use those.
Awesome. Well, guys, we appreciate that. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Dude, you've been on here an hour. I feel like we could talk another 2 or 3 for sure. Maybe we need to, Eric. Maybe we need to look at doing like an after hours show, and then open beers and have conversations.
Yeah,
right.
It's when you need to get like Devin on, and then a couple of the big tire guys on.
Oh yeah, we'll go at it.
Start to let it flow.
That's exactly right.
I'm in.
Guys, thanks so much. Yep, we're gonna put you backstage. You don't have to leave, and if you don't, we'll talk to you another 30 minutes after the end of the show. But we got to get this thing shut down.
Cool. Good deal.
Right, thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you,
dude. What a fun night! Holy geez.
Yeah,
Those
we
guys
covered
are really smart and a great time to hang out with.
Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff in 2 hours for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And we didn't have a show last week, so obviously we had a bunch of stuff to catch up on. And
yeah. Well, and if you guys didn't hear earlier on in the show, we are back on Saturday morning, and we're going to dive deep into some of the sick week records and things like that that came from that. If Chuck Stefanski is watching this, I will have his stuff figured out by Saturday morning. We're talking about the centrifugal blower record, all kinds of fun stuff from there. So there's a lot of stuff that happened at Sick Week that we didn't really even get into tonight because I wanted to talk to those guys for you know an hour, which was perfect. So I
Yep.
appreciate everybody that's made comments tonight, that's asked questions, that helped us push through all the conversation tonight. It was really cool to see all that, and want to say thanks again. We appreciate that for sure. And guys, dude, have we not asked people to subscribe yet?
Yeah, you didn't
Like,
give your gentleman's handshake.
I mean, listen, the gentleman's agreement is the deal. We'll do work on this side. All we ask is that you guys subscribe and on your side. We just appreciate that. And again, this goes out live to 8 different places, and then we take it and edit it down, and it is going to be posted on PowerTube TV. Watch PowerTube TV. Watch PTTV.com, all the stuff, guys. You got to find it there. We're again providing exclusive content to those guys, and we're trying to just grow this drag and drive community as we get out there. So, guys, again, my name's
Absolutely.
Mike Narks. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Eric,
Yep.
send them out, man.
Yep. My name's Eric White. We want to say thanks to all of our sponsors one last time: Howard's Cams, Molly Motorsport, Summit Racing, Car Change 3D, Sweet Patina, and Racing Junk. We will see you guys on Saturday morning.